robots, so building things in factories, or like a Roomba for consumers? What kind of products do you expect them to monetize?
Yeah, especially look, humanoid robotics is going to be front and center, autonomous. You're seeing flying cars. A lot of the presence. You talk about a lot of the tensions between U.S. and China. The presence of Chinese companies is going to be. It's going to be a monster in terms of what we see there. Everything doubling, over the last few years. But I think it's really going to be about humanoid robotics. It's going to be about autonomous. But this is also going to be about more embedded AI devices that consumers are going to see. CES, we're not just talking about flying drones and refrigerators that talk to you. Now these are much more sort of front and center in terms of it's a who's who. Every big tech player is going to be there, even if they're not unofficially there. They're there to look for acquisition.
I love the idea of opening a refrigerator and having it say, do you really want that? And I can just imagine the future for, move over Ozempic. So there's this question here also about what some of the moves in late 2025 mean. And I'd love your take on this, because we saw some acquisitions made by the likes of Meta and NVIDIA. And I just wonder whether there's more cost consciousness and more of a competitive advantage that they're looking to solidify at a time where suddenly companies are saying, hold on, what are we paying for this, and what are we actually getting?
Look, I think you hit on a great point, because the reality is it's an arms race. That's what's going on with big tech, and right now, at the top of that mountain is big tech, and when you look at like Google's win versus DOJ, antitrust, this is sort of go time for big tech, and I think you're going to see more and more acquisitions, and we've talked about not just on enterprise, on energy, and I think really across the board, and it speaks to really what we're seeing right here is that it's not just about big tech getting bigger and bigger, doing acquisitions, spending. You can have $600 billion in capex in big tech, but it's also going to see other players being like, don't forget about me. Look at AMD. You're going to see look at Cisco, look at IBM. There's going to be a lot of other players saying like, hey, we want to get into that AI party.
All right, that was Dan Ives and his highly disturbing wardrobe. Speaking on Bloomberg Surveillance this morning with Lisa and Matt. Let's get back to these markets here. Joining us for more on the AI trade is Shauna Smith, Senior Investment Strategist at